What's good, everybody? It's your man DL saying back with you with another DL short. Listen, we're about to talk about a great American, Patrick Bet David. I'm gonna need y'all to do three things. First of all, Google his name if you don't know who he is. You want to talk about rags to riches, pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. A good, solid American. That's that guy right there on the screen. Patrick Bet David, Iranian born, raised in America, served in the United States Army. He was air assault out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Almost perfect. Had he gone to airborne school, he'd have been perfect like Uncle Saint right here. Pat, why didn't you go to airborne school? Anyway, that's first thing, Google his name. Second thing, get his book, Your Next Five Moves. Master the Art of Business Strategy. Patrick Bet David. This is definitely a must read. Get the book. The man is a thinker. Third, go over to Valuetainment, PBD Podcast. Subscribe, like, check him out. We're going to react to a clip from their show today, I believe it was, today or yesterday. Yo, you got to listen to what this brother is talking about. Self-made millionaire. His net worth is well north of 100. I think it's north of $200 million. Businessman, has a very successful business with a bunch of motivated people that work for him. They're down in Florida. They moved from California to Texas to Florida. So glad he's here. All right, that's enough for me telling you who he is. Yeah, I'm rocking his merch. You know what I mean? They sent me this. I appreciate it, Vinny. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? But let's check out the show.
GDP reveals ominous Great Depression warning sign not seen since 1932. Okay, a GDP report is saying that a Great Depression warning sign not seen since 1932. Here's what it is. Even the areas that which contributed positively to GDP are not necessarily signs of prosperity. For example, business investment grew at only 1.4% in the fourth quarter, but that was almost entirely inventory growth. Non-residential investment, a key driver of future economic growth, was only up 0.7%. Meanwhile, residential investment fell off a cliff, dropping 26.7% as consumers were unable to afford the combination of high home prices, high interest rates, and falling real incomes. But perhaps most troubling is the precipitous drop in real disposable income, which fell over $1 trillion in 2022. For context, this is the second largest percentage drop in real disposable income ever, behind only 1932, the worst year of the Great Depression. To keep up with inflation, consumers are now depleting their savings and burning through the stimulus checks they received during 2020 and 2021.
Like I said, this brother's a thinker. Did you hear what he just said? The economy has been keeping America afloat for a very long time, right? Most Americans have all their value tied into their homes. When the shutdown happened with the pandemic and all that, we did something we've never done before in this country. We completely shut down the economy. Now they're talking about GDP, gross domestic product, and numbers trail. You don't have real-time numbers, generally speaking. It's a trailing effect. So you have all this stuff going on. We shut the economy down. People had to stay home. We printed up all that stimmy money. All them stimulus checks went out, right? That caused crazy runaway inflation, was only going to get worse. So what did the Fed have to do, the Federal Reserve? What did they have to do? They had to raise interest rates. You know, just a couple of days ago, they just raised it 1 basis point, 0.25% raise, right? It was 0.75% raise before, and then there was another one was like another 0.25 raise. So they have to raise interest rates. Houses cost more. People aren't making as much money. Layoffs are coming. This is crazy stuff, right? All these numbers are trailing indicators. All these numbers. So, yo, this is when you really need to put on your think tank, America. Americans are running out of money. They're burning through their savings. This is what's going on. Things cost more and people have less money. Let's continue.
One thing that I don't think enough people are talking about. You can look at everything that's good And you can say, well, look at what's going on here, look at what's going on there. But when people run out of savings, something happens to them. And gradually, our savings has gone from $2.1 trillion, down $8 trillion in savings to $1.2 trillion. That's like you have $20,000, now you got $10,000. It's not crazy yet, but you're thinking about it, okay?
I don't know about most Americans, but I'm going through the exact same thing. I retired. My income got slashed drastically. I make 75% less now that I'm retired. My savings has been run through. Just trying to reestablish. I had to move across the country. I had to get my daughter sorted out. I had to get myself sorted out. There were outstanding bills and stuff that had to be paid. Money that I had set aside for the future, those funds are down 50%, just like he says.
And for those who were kind of sitting there being greedy and say, well, let me tell you, here's what I'm going to sell. I'm not going to sell this for this price. Sales are coming in the next 2 quarters. Sales are coming in the next 2 quarters.
And the credit card balances, you tweeted it out. And
right,
you also
940 billion. Yeah, 940 billion. We were talking about it. You and I sat down before the Clay and the Buck show that we had. Clay Travis, those guys do a great job. But and by the way, do you remember? I don't know if you remember this. Maybe you will. When we were doing podcasts and you said, Pat, I'm all about saving that money. Look what's happened ever since we give the stimulus checks. People are paying off their credit card debt. Americans are saving 27%, record breaking. I don't know if you remember. This was a month. This is so Biden's inauguration is when? January 2021. March, they announced the $1.9 trillion. In April, the savings rate in America hits 27%. When is the last time we saved 27%? 27%. You know what the savings rate is right now? 2.4%.
Holy shit.
So by the way,
from 27% to 2.4%, what's going on? We are having to pay for all of the stuff that we have done in the past, right? This is going all the way back to 08, to the beginning of the pandemic, all the way back. And people got to pay because people had to go to their credit cards to make ends meet. People lost their businesses. They had to go to credit cards to keep the family afloat. Even though stimmy money was coming in, that money was already spent as well. Right? The only people who was really getting over was the people at the top because everything was so cheap. They were buying up things that they had cash to do it. Shout out to the 1%. If you had the money, right? Shout out to George Gammon. He's already talking about that. They're like, hey, what's your strategy, George Gammon? He was like, I buy things when they're cheap. I sell things when they're expensive. That's a great strategy. But let's continue.
Lowest it's been in 17 years. Lowest it's been in 17 years. You know what 17 is? 17 is not even 2008 crash. 17 is prior to that. So these are things that will be felt. Somebody the other day on, who posted this on, can you go to Professor Scott Galloway? Go to Professor Scott Galloway's Twitter account. He posted this yesterday, and if you guys know who he is.
Yeah, Prof. Beast. He's a beast.
He's a beast, but he also go to his, it's going to be one of his recent tweets where he talks about the economy is not as bad as people are saying. Man, I hope you can go to it.
The economy is not as bad as people saying. Come on now. Watch this real close, y'all.
If you can't go to it, I'm going to read it. There it is, right there. Click on that one. That's the one. Zoom in a little bit. Real GDP is up 6.7% under Biden. We gained 4.5 million jobs in 2022. Inflation over the last 6 months is down 2% at an annual rate. Economy is doing better than most Americans think. Okay. Now go to the comments.
And Scott Galloway, Professor Galloway, shout out to you, brother. I do like him. I've done reactions to him on the main platform where we talk, because that's the guy that runs the numbers. He runs all kind of numbers, and that's the guy that was talking about sexless men in America and how dangerous they are. So shout out to him. But let's continue.
Zoom in a little bit. Todd Mitchell. Tell that to almost a $4 gas, $9 eggs, $8 milk, out gas, and electric bill that went up 2/3, and in countless increases of massive amounts while literally tens of thousands of people are being laid off at a record pace. I like you, but your comments are wrong. Okay, keep going lower. So what he's saying is, he's not feeling it. The other person is saying, the average day-to-day person that's shopping, they're feeling it. Here's one thing that happens when you make money. The moment you make money, certain things change. Meaning, a $3 increase isn't felt. gas prices goes up $2, you won't feel it. You're like, yeah, gas, I was filling up my tank at $80, that's $110. Okay, who cares? Just $30. Hey, this thing that we were paying this much money for, shopping's gone up every month, $200. It's not a big deal, it's $200. Two-person making money is not a big deal.
Of course.
Two-person that's making $55,000 a year, or is making $82,000 trying to take care of their husband, wife, and 3 kids, yeah, they're gonna feel it. So,
Pat speaking facts. The average man in America makes about $37,000 a year. The average single man in America makes about $37,000 a year. If his aids go up, if his gas goes up, if his utility bills go up by $2 or $3, he's gonna feel that. He's absolutely gonna feel that. It's gonna have to make some serious changes, right? I think the average household income in America is about between $60 and $100,000. I got to look that up. I'm not sure, but the average American is feeling this. Pat's absolutely right. When you got money, another $10 here, $30 there, $300 there, it's not going to bother you. When you out here buying, jewelry, if you're out here buying Hermes bags, or you're out here buying Rolex and Omega watches, you don't care. You got the bread, it's not going to affect you. You can sit down and see the numbers. If you sit down and look, you're like, oh, look, we paid an extra $500 over here last month on our overall bills. It's not going to affect you. You spend more than that going out to dinner. This is going to hurt America. People are getting laid off right now. The pain is coming, y'all. The pain is coming. You got to put it through the old think tank. Shout out to Patrick Bet-David. Shout out to Valuetainment. Remember, go get this man's book and check it out, y'all. I'm DL Saint. It's another DL Short. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.